Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and all else to another video. Here's something that probably won't surprise anyone. There is a creepypasta out there regarding the greatest achievement in all of video game history. Sonic 06. The literal title for it is The Scary Sonic 06. As if the game itself isn't scary enough. What? Actually, I kind of enjoy Sonic 06, but for all the wrong reasons, just saying. Needless to say, I think we're heading into some dangerous territory here, so hold on to your potatoes. We're going Mach speed straight into it. This is the scary Sonic 06. How bad could it really be? And before you ask, it does indeed seem as though this story was written with serious intent, judging by the categories it is classified under on the Creepypasta training staff wiki. You can't really know for sure. It is up for debate because this story will get very ridiculous, but you know, it is a lot of fun to imagine someone sitting down and writing something like this with the mindset that it would frighten readers. Keep that in mind as we proceed. I've always been a fan of video games ever since I was born. My mom said that even when I was a fetus, I probably played a Game Boy in there. What kind of an opening statement is that? That just sets the tone of your story right from the get-go. I recently found a copy of my favorite Sonic game in the franchise, Sonic 06. Oh, the joys of being a youngling again. You enjoy things no matter how terrible they actually are. I found it in my grandpa's attic, which was strangely filled with strange chairs and whips for some reason. Grandpa, what did you get up to in your youth? I don't have a clue how he knew Sonic 06 was my favorite game ever. Did you just steal the game from your grandpa? That was his!
But I guess that's not out of character for Grandpa Joe, is it? That thieving bastard, manipulating Charlie into committing crimes with him.
Also, why would an old man just keep a copy of Sonic 06 up in his attic along with his, BDSM gear? As soon as I popped in the disc and started, 3 ads played. I saw an ad for a new Gem series. I screamed, "Oh my god, I love Gem!" But something was weird. Her eyes were blood red. There also was an ad for Hey You Pikachu 2. The final ad was a The Brave Little Toaster remake. What are all these unconnected trailers about? A Brave Little Toaster remake in my Sonic 06 story? What's going on? At the end of these ads, it said all of these characters are in the game. I said to myself, must be modded. This is gonna be fun. Whoa, are we gonna see a sentient toaster running around with Sonic the Hedgehog? I mean, sign me up, man, I'm ready to see that. I was in it didn't even show any menus. It was Sonic tied to a chair with Gem, the brave little toaster, and Pikachu cornering Sonic. They all had knives, and were whispering, "Red rum, red rum, red rum." And I thought to myself, my grandpa must have modded this. What a weird guy. That's a very tech-savvy grandpa. Grandpa game designer. And then I heard a knock on my door. I live in a super mansion because my parents are so rich they let me live by myself. Okay. What parents would just let their kid run rampant in his own mansion? Actually, I'm glad this detail was included. That just made this entire story completely unrealistic. That's comforting for me and my sanity. Otherwise, I would have definitely lost sleep over it. It was so believable up to this point. Now you've jumped the shark. Well, where were we? I heard a knock on my door and it was a basket. Not any basket, but a wicker basket. And it had my favorite films in it. The Wicker Man, the original or the remake. I certainly hope for the remake. Epic movie, and Norbit. It also had plush Ace of Pikachu, Gem, and the brave little toaster. On my lawn, I saw a dead blue-painted hedgehog. That poor hedgehog. Oh, sorry, I meant hedgehog. So I took out Sonic 06 and started to watch Norbit, because LOL, that Sonic 06 sucked. Way to lay down the hammer on your grandfather's modding abilities. That's harsh. And then I heard a rustling in my house. I said to myself, must be my maid. How old are you supposed to be? You have a maid in your gigantic mansion all to yourself? Is this kid Richie Rich or something? Say, Why did your parents give you a mansion all to yourself? You would think you would want to stay close to your son during his developing years, but I guess these parents just found the role of parenting way too demanding. Then from out behind me, I felt 3 hands touch me. I jerked back and saw them all moving with giant knives and whispering, "Red rum, red rum, red rum." And then they all cornered me and I was in the game. What is going on? This story has more twists and turns than an old country road. I got out because I'm super kick-ass and I am a triple black belt in karate. Yeah, that's convenient. Dramatic tension? Vulnerability? What's that? Then we all hugged and had cookies because we're all best friends now because they said, "Wow, you're such a badass, we love you, you're our new king." And then they made me snickerdoodle cookies, which are my favorite. Oh, what a wholesome, peachy little ending there. At least this one didn't end on some open-ended cliffhanger. Here we know exactly what happened. That obviously transforms this story into a near-flawless masterpiece. I mean, what can I say? That was one of the funniest things I've read in a while. Judging by how ridiculous and over-the-top the entire thing is, it becomes increasingly difficult to discern if the story was indeed written in order to scare you, or if it was simply written for the fun of it in order to be a trollpasta. If it was a trollpasta, then it succeeds with flying colors, because it made me laugh on numerous occasions. But honestly, if this was unironically meant to be a serious story, then it becomes 10 times funnier in my eyes. Either way, whether this was meant to be serious or not, a massive thanks to whoever wrote this. It amused me to no end, and as you know, all of this is just in good fun. I can criticize the unrealistic and hilarious plot points and the terrible writing all I want, but I think the story speaks for itself. I trust you enough to ascertain the quality of this story on your own after all is said and done. Well, that story was fairly short, so you know what? Here's a little bonus Sonic Creepypasta for you all. Another one that was apparently written with serious intent, so I shall treat it as such. Let's get to it. This is Sonic the Hedgehog 1, Dead Hill Zone. Do not remove this, I am only starting to get good. That's one firm way to get your message across right from the get-go. We all know Sonic the Hedgehog. Well, he has a missing zone on his path. Dead Hill Zone 0. One sunny day I was looking on eBay for a Sonic the Hedgehog 1 copy. Even though I hated Sonic 1, I still wanted it. This I can relate to. I own a lot of games that I actually hate. Some of them I even went out and got just for the novelty of owning a copy, so I know what that's like. Suddenly I found a copy saying Sonic the Hedgehog. The price was free, so I clicked buy and it was done. Haven't you learned yet, kid? Nothing is ever really truly free in this dangerous world of ours. When the game came, I was happy, but something was wrong. The game's cover was ripped off. All was left was Sonic's shoe, sitting there lonesome. I saw blood on it, but I didn't care. Are you sure you shouldn't be alarmed that you found blood splatter on your recently purchased game? You're just setting yourself up for disaster here. Dead Hill Zone 1. As I put the game into my Sega Genesis, the screen showed the normal title screen. All different was Sonic was sad, he looked alone, his hand was doing a thumbs down, and then the title screen went to the game. The title card was, "This is the start zone." The level loaded and I was playing as Sonic. He was still sad and his waiting animation was sitting on the ground, crying in fear. As I played the level, I noticed no music was playing, not even the title screen. Reaching the goalpost, I saw Eggman. He was out of his Eggmobile. He walked to Sonic and said in a speech box, "Sonic, he's after me. Don't go longer than this, or it's your doom." Why, Dr. Robotnik? He's mad! He's mad! Ooh, character progression. Are Sonic and Eggman gonna work together to bring down the real enemy? Like they always inevitably do at the end of every game? Then the level ended, but the score went to -100. I thought, strange, you can't go minus score. Dead Hill Zone 2. I was in a new zone, Dead Hill Zone 1. Excuse me? It was Green Hill Zone, but darker in color and the water was blood red. Thunder was in the background. When the time got to 3 minutes, Sonic did his dead animation but didn't fall or jump. His eyes changed into what looked like Sonic.exe. He screamed and got claws. He was now walking on his own. His friends are dead. And that is why you should not push Sonic to the edge. Hog. He walked past. He saw Miles Tails Prower not enjoying everything around him. Sonic walked up to him and snapped his neck. Whoa! He turned black. Blood dripped from his eyes. Another text box appeared saying, "What have you done? You should have done what Dr. Eggman said." Shut up, you fox! Sonic's eyes has blood dripping out now, as he walked up to Eggman and kicked him into the ocean. The game froze. I ripped the game out the Genesis and the cover had that Sonic from the game. I threw it away and it broke. Wait, how did the cover change like that? You described it earlier in the story already. Aftermath. A live hill zone. After that, I randomly fainted of a heart attack. I knew because my mom carried me to the hospital. That must have been traumatic, man. I can't wait to see how this sudden brush with death and your own mortality will inform the rest of the story. It must have been a huge wake-up call. Let's see what happens next. I did get out, luckily. Hopefully, I never see that cursed Sonic again, or even a sequel to the game. Or will it? He could be after me. Wait, no. Someone found the game. My next door neighbor played the game. All happened was Sonic fell down and he said, "See you next devilish time." That means nothing. He told me about it. Want a sequel? Just ask me. I'm Tonic the Hedge Fox. Boy, that heart attack subplot sure contributed to the plot in many different ways. This isn't a troll pasta. This is an attempt to make a creepypasta. It will be moved back to spin pasta. And at last, it ended up on the Creepypasta staff training wiki. It went back and forth like a tennis ball, and now it resides here. Alright, here's another unfortunately mediocre and derivative story about a spooky game that is then immediately destroyed, but then comes back to haunt the protagonist after being disposed of. This felt more like a budget version of Sonic.exe, without a lot of the detail and pointless fluff from that story, instead of being a story that stands well on its own. The direct mention of Sonic.exe himself really didn't help this one in any way. There is of course nothing wrong with taking inspiration from other sources when writing your own fiction, but care must be taken in order to transform these inspirations into something new and provocative. Otherwise, you more often than not just end up with an unimaginative ripoff, such is the case with this story. Nothing new was really gained or learned, and we simply went through the same old video game pasta tropes without any deviation really. You buy the game off of eBay, it shows up in poor condition, and then it turns out the hero is actually evil and scares you so much that you'll never be the same again. This plot has already been done to death before. If you are going to attempt to write a story such as this with inspiration from similar sources, you need to really sit down and think, has this been done before? And if so, how can you do it differently? How can you make it surprising for the reader? How can you play with people's expectations? That's just some advice that I thought of. Again, no ill will to any authors out there. This story was unoriginal and unsurprising and not very good, but there's always room for improvement. And writing in all caps that you don't want your story deleted, obviously aimed at the admins of the wiki you're publishing it on, doesn't help immersion in any way. I do get it though. The author of this one is probably quite young, though that isn't 100% guaranteed, and it can be quite frustrating at a young age to find out people don't really find your story that great when you put it out there on the internet. That's just something you pick up on the more stories you publish, so just pick it up, try to refine your craft and hone your skills, and then maybe go at it again. Keep writing, keep improving, as I always say. With that said, I think that should be all for today's video. I certainly hope you had a good time with these super fast tales. Get it? Tales? Tales? Haha.
This is terrible!
If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, make sure you give this video a like, and why not let me know what part was your favorite in the comments below. Why not even subscribe while you're at it? It really does help my channel out a lot. Check out my snazzy social medias if you like for updates and whatnot, such as my Twitter, Instagram, or Snapchat, and if you're feeling extra generous, you can always check out my Patreon page. Don't forget, I've also got a merch store open for any and all who wish to join this little hoodlum clan we've got going here. Links to everything will be down in the description. That should be that. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay awesome. Goodbye.